Happy New Year! Welcome back to the Content Swap Podcast. It is 2024.
Wow.
Yep. And this time here at the Content Swap Podcast, we want to say, well, one, hello again. It's good to see you. It's been a while. I hope you didn't miss us too much. You like jazz? Did you miss us? We missed you. And we're coming back in full force in 2024, baby. All right, let's get into it. 2023, that was a year. That happened. What'd you think?
About 2023?
Yeah, what'd you think about 2023?
I mean, I think it was a pretty good year for me, you know?
All right, cool. Moving on.
I was reflecting.
It was a good year for Aaliyah, everybody. All right, next up. What's this week's content?
Wait. I was reflecting, and I needed a minute to process.
All right.
Anyway, how was your 2023?
Yeah, I think my 2023 was pretty great, actually. Yeah, pretty solid. You know, to dive into cheesy territory, you know, every year that we spend together becomes the new best year I've ever lived. So
thanks, babe. Same.
Yeah.
We got engaged.
We got
this year.
engaged this year. So I mean, like, you know, how do you beat that? Like, by getting
We
married.
get married.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. 2024 is going to be a heck of a year.
It is. It's going to be a wild, crazy, busy year.
Expensive.
That too. That too. We got a lot of things coming up that require lots of travel.
Mm-hmm. Lots of travel, lots of spending, lots of excelling. We're gonna excel this year.
Yeah, this is our year.
Yeah.
Woo.
2024, baby.
Anyway, what were you saying? You were saying something before I asked you what your 2023 was like.
Oh no, I asked you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something. Anyway,
continue. Yes. What else? Any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns about the year 2023?
No, it is now in the past, and now we are in the present.
Oh,
so why don't we talk about? Well, actually, we are going to keep talking about 2023.
Yeah, that's why.
It's been a minute since we've recorded, so I feel all over the place.
I prompted you to. That's what I'm sitting here trying to prompt you because we have a whole bit planned, and here you are not following the script.
I forgot. I was like, wait, that is still about 2023.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right,
I'm getting back in the groove.
I'm gonna let you take the lead. Go ahead.
Please don't. Okay, so when we wanted to talk about our favorite pieces of content from 2023, because we did this last year when we recorded our very first episode of the year, and so to stay in the same whatever word I'm looking for, we're gonna do it again this year.
Yeah, in the spirit of consistency.
There we go.
We're gonna do it again.
I can't even find my notes on it.
Last year we posted our first episode of the year on January 1st.
Yes.
It was like we recorded on New Year's Eve and then we posted on January 1st. Today is the 8th and we're planning on posting on the 9th, fingers crossed. Because we had a long vacation and we were gone for a long time.
Yes.
So, which was a great vacation.
Which is why I can't podcast anymore.
Yeah, it's been a while. Are we even planning on talking about the vacation? Is it a later thing? Or
Nah.
We're not talking about. We went on vacation.
We had a great vacation. It was like 2.5 weeks. It was wonderful.
Saw a lot of family. Went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did so much. We could be talking about it. That's a whole other episode.
A whole other podcast.
So we'll just skip over
That's a bonus episode. Subscribe to our Patreon. You can listen to it there. Just kidding. We don't have one of those. But if you'd like for us to have one, please leave a comment and then, donate or something. All right. What are we talking about?
I already said it, didn't I?
You did.
Top 3 favorite assignments of 2023.
All right. Top 3 favorite assignments of 2023. In no particular order, I wrote down He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not.
Wow.
From Spooky Swap, week 2.
Wow.
Or maybe it was week 3. I don't know. But
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a Spooky Swap pick this year. He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not was a French film where it starred an unreliable narrator and it was just a perfect twist, a perfect simple twist in an otherwise simple movie, and it just really stood out. There was a lot to talk about and a lot to chew on. If you haven't seen it, it's a great great film, great writing, like just great, simple, powerful writing, and I love that. I also wrote down as another top 3, The Best Man Holiday.
Wow.
Yeah, I really like The Best Man Holiday. Yay. I went telling people like, hey, like, everybody's talking about favorite holiday movies, and I was like, when you see The Best Man Holiday, everybody's looking at me like, what the heck is The Best Man Holiday? And I'm like, yeah, you got to watch The Best Man first, and then you got to watch The Best Man Holiday. But The Best Man Holiday is great, and everybody's. Like I told people at work, my all hands meeting about it.
Not the all hands meeting. That's so funny.
And everybody was like, okay.
That's so funny.
I loved that movie. It was so much heart in that movie. Like, just great cast, very funny, just having a good time, celebrating the holiday. Getting a little shady with each other, but like overall, just like there's an emotional core to that movie that was very strong, and for it to be a sequel is also kind of like that. If anything, that is what made the story as good as it is, because it's got like all of the emotional weight from a prior film from like 14 years ago, adding to the gravitas of it all. So yeah, great movie, underrated. And then my last pick is The Bear,
of course.
Yeah, which was won a whole bunch of Golden Globes, I believe, yesterday. However, it did get snubbed at the Parker Awards 2023 due to a clerical error in which I forgot that it existed when I was doing my top 5 for the year. So yeah, that would have been like number 2, I think.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It might have even been number 1, like above The Last of Us, which is just like embarrassing that I forgot it. So
it is quite embarrassing.
Don't hold it against me.
I am. I'm just kidding.
Should I do my honorable mention?
Well, let me do mine first, and then you do our
All right, go for it.
Okay, so my top 3 favorite assignments of 2023 are probably no shock, because I've been talking about how they're my top favorite assignments, and nothing really knocked them down. So
I know what 2 of them are. I want to know what the third one is.
Yeah, so my first one, obviously, Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on
Ice. I loved it. I think about the music more than I'd like to. I want to figure skate because of it. I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with their love. It was just great. My second one is Miami Connection. I think we quote that the most. Like, we're constantly like, my father. Oh my God. Like,
I thought we are all orphans.
Like, it's just so funny. I want to watch it again. We haven't done it. I really want to. The music, fantastic. We have dance parties to the music.
We should go teach Kung Fu across the world. In all of our native countries.
Like, it's just so funny. It's so funny, and I loved every second of it. We need to have like a Miami Connection party.
We need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. And my third, and I had trouble with this because you've given me some pretty great content this year, and I was stuck between a few. But the conclusion I ended up coming to was that my third favorite, and also these were in no particular order as well, but my third favorite is Perfect Blue.
Wow.
And I chose it because it's the piece of content that is most embedded in my mind. Like, I will never forget that movie. Like, it was just so weird and scary and like creepy crawly and really good. And I just like I'll think about the movie. That movie was so wild. Like, it was just so weird. And I love movies that make me do that. So that is my number 3.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, all right. It sounds like you might have more than one honorable mention.
I just put 1.
Oh, okay. Well, feel free to mention more than one, because I wrote 2.
Okay. I would have to look at our content swaps again because I don't remember. So I only will mention the 1.
I will just assume that Uncharted 4 is on there. Okay, so
I'll give you a second one. Go ahead.
My honorable mention, my first honorable mention is The Intern. I was originally going to put that in the top 3, but then He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not wiped it out. So, yeah, The Intern, just a great movie. Feel good movie. Mm-hmm. Made me want to be a better man. Nice. And my second honorable mention was Step Up 2, because how could I not mention it?
I was going to be so sad if you did it. I was like, Step Up 2 is the greatest film of all time. Please be on there.
Yeah. No, Step Up 2 is lit, and everybody should go watch it. Yeah, Step Up to the Streets. Is it Step Up to the Streets, or are they stepping up to the streets? We don't know.
No, it's Step Up to the Streets.
Well, let's settle this back where we used to settle this. The streets. I forgot the line in the movie.
Speech?
Yeah, her whole speech where she's like, it's not about what you got. It's about what you make of what you got. So if you guys want to see us perform, we'll be back where this whole thing started. The streets.
So good. Then it was the best dance performance I've ever seen.
Yep. And then it's like
in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie slaps. Everybody should go watch it.
So good. Wow.
Well, those are my 2 honorable mentions.
Got you.
See? That was a very honorable mention.
Yeah, for sure. So my 2 honorable mentions, the first, and this is what I struggled with between this and Perfect Blue, and that was The Raid Redemption.
Ooh.
It was just phenomenal. Like, the martial arts in that movie, crazy. Well, it's called something else, isn't it?
The Raid Redemption?
The type of martial arts.
Pencak Silat.
There we go. Fantastic. Amazing. I enjoyed watching every second of it. The second one was a little bit violent for me.
Yeah,
the first one was violent, but
the second one was a bit violent for me.
Yeah, it was a little too much.
I used to tell people like, oh yeah, Raid 2 better than the Raid 1. But having done a whole episode on the Raid 1 and then watching the Raid 2, I was like, you know what? Raid 1.
I like the simplicity of Raid 1 because it's all in one place and it's just a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
My second honorable mention that I just came up with, because I forgot about it, is The Thing.
Yeah, I thought so.
A great movie.
And you should go watch it.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. Great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah. All right. We also, before we jump into our contents, wanted to talk about 2 more things, and that is our favorite content that we engaged with over Christmas break, as well as content that we're looking forward to engaging with in the upcoming year. So, do you want to start?
Sure. I was just going to mention that over the Christmas holiday break, I started playing Super Mario RPG, which is a Mario RPG game that came out before Paper Mario, which is another Mario RPG game that we're about to talk about in a second. But I started playing the remake to Super Mario RPG that Nintendo put out in November for the Switch, and it's basically the same exact game, but just with like updated graphics and tons of quality of life features, and it's a super weird game, and I'm going to say more about it later, but I just wanted to mention that I started playing that during the break because I'm really enjoying the simplicity of it. It's this weird, like, feels very old, but also has this like newness to it, and it really stands out, and I'm going to say more about it later. So that's all I'm going to really say for now, because I just thought that would be a good way to kind of set the tone for our later conversation for Paper Mario, because it's going to come up. The other thing that I wanted to mention, which was what am I looking forward to engaging with? Well, a certain game of the year went on sale for only 10%. So instead of spending a full $70 for it, I spent $63.
Wow, what a steal.
On Baldur's Gate 3, which, as I just mentioned, won Game of the Year at the Game Awards a few weeks ago. So I've heard nothing but great things about this game. I started playing it last night, and it was never in the plan to play this game because it's just too big. It's just too beefy. There's way too much going on. There's way too much stuff to learn. I've got like multiple RPGs that are coming out this year that I want to play, and this is like the biggest RPG ever made. Why on earth would I do that? But it went on sale for 10% off. And you know what? Something about that. Getting a notification on my phone while I'm on vacation away from my PlayStation 5 for like 3 weeks. I get a notification that Baldur's Gate 3 is on sale, and suddenly I'm just like, let's do it. Screw it. I don't care. Let's buy it. And when I get back, I'm going to play it. And that's exactly what I did. So I played it for 2.5 hours last night, and an hour and a half of that was spent just making my character. So I am a half high elf sage sorcerer, and my name is Parshath. And I got magic spells and a lot of charisma, so we'll see how that goes. I talked to my coworker today because Baldur's Gate 3 is basically just Dungeons and Dragons in video game form. So the whole draw of the game is that, yeah, there's this big epic story and all these like characters, but it's like the world is your oyster. Like there's whatever you can think to possibly do in the game has like a reaction to that, and there's just like a ton of different dialogue. It's a fully voiced game, so you could do some kind of random wacky thing or whatever, and the character will be like, hey, why did you do that very specific thing in this very specific moment? And or at least that's my impression of what this game is supposed to be like, where you just kind of have full freedom to dictate and choose how you proceed with the adventure through whatever path works for you in a very like, in a way that only Dungeons and Dragons can afford you, like that kind of freedom, like by talking about it, you know, tabletop RPG style, but in a video game. Somehow, you know, people keep saying like, oh, you know, there's like a magic trick to it, and we don't know how they possibly managed to pull it off. So I'm looking forward to that. It's also very overwhelming, and I'm currently like not really having fun yet. So like all I've done so far is like fight some things, die a bunch of times, and then like I pulled a dude out of a portal, and you know, it was fun kind of choosing the dialogue options, but like I feel like I have barely even come close to scratching the surface. I've like breathed on the surface. That's all I've done. So more to come on that. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Cool. So in terms of my favorite piece of content that I engaged with over the summer, over winter break, that would be the movie Saltburn.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh, I could never forget about that.
I don't know how I could either.
If you have not seen Saltburn, it stars Jacob Elordi. It's got Rosamund Pike. Is that her name?
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah. I don't know the other guy's name, but he was in Eternals, I'm pretty sure.
Barry Keoghan.
There we go.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. And the guy who was in Gran Turismo. I don't know his name either.
His name is Grant Turismo. I have no idea what that guy's name is.
Yeah, but they're in it as well as other people. And this movie, one, don't watch it with your family, because I read an article that a lot of people watched it with their family for Christmas and was like,
do not.
Don't watch it with your family. Watch it with yourself, with your partner, with your friends, whatever, just not family. And let me tell you, your jaw will be dropped 50 million times. It was insane. I was shook the whole time. It was crazy, and I'll never forget it. But it was good.
Like shook. Like
yeah. Like a movie has not shocked me like that, I don't think, ever.
Shaken.
Yeah.
Archie Madekwe.
Got you.
That's Grant Turismo's name.
I like that guy. So I highly recommend. And in terms of content I'm looking forward to engage with, so this is something that actually is already out, but I've been really wanting to see it, and that is Ironclaw. And like as soon as we got back here, I was like, I want to go see Ironclaw. So I'm really excited to watch that movie. I love sweet baby Zac Efron. I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see Jeremy Allen. I don't know the other guy's name, but he seems cool too. And yeah, I don't know. It just, something about it is drawing my attention. I don't really know what it's about aside from like they like wrestle, but I think there's more to it. I think it's a deeper story than that from what I've heard. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Excellent.
Yep. shall we get into our assignments?
Let's get into our assignments. Our first assignments of 2024. Thank you for listening to the 2023 finale update.
Yep.
Whatever. Let's do it. Let's get into some content.
All right. So the first piece of content I was assigned for 2024 was Paper Mario, which came out in 2000.
2000. Is that a song?
It's the year 3000 by the Jonas Brothers, but I changed it to 2000.
Jason Derulo.
What? And so, yeah, so the premise of Paper Mario is that, you know, Bowser's up to no good as per usual. So Bowser has stolen a Star Rod from the Star Spirits, and I think the Star Rod allows you to grant wishes. And basically, you know, Bowser does what he is gonna do. So he kidnaps Princess Peach. It's like, I love you, stay with me forever. And he's like taking over, you know, the world. And Mario needs to save everybody, as per usual. And so I really don't have much to say about this game. At first, I was like, this game sucks. Wait. I said at first, I was like, this game sucks because, you know, at the very beginning of the game, you can like fight Goombas or whatever, but it's like you just go back and forth and there's not really much you can do. What I did not know, I thought that was going to be the whole game. What I didn't know is that, like, as you progress through the game, you gain more skills, you gain partners that you battle with, you gain items, and like all these things can be used to help you in the fights. And on top of gaining all those things, the villains get harder to battle. Like, they have like, maybe one of the Goombas have like little spikes on top of them, and so then you can't jump on them. You have to use some other method to kill them and all this stuff. So it started to get more and more difficult, and I enjoyed that because you had to be way more strategic as you kept going. And it took me a while to realize that. Like, at first I was just like, oh, I'll just jump on them over and over and over. But it's like, no, because I'm going to die. Like, the way that the villains kind of respond to me is different as well. So I started to really enjoy the game, and I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. Will I finish it? Probably not. What I will say is I'm definitely excited for this remaster of, what is it, 1,000 Doors or whatever.
Paper Mario, 1,000 Doors. Well, it's Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door.
I was close.
Yeah, you were close.
I think I would enjoy playing that because, you know, the graphics are a bit better.
Oh, yeah.
So I am excited about that. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
So how far into the game did you get? So like this is a special case of you playing a game where I basically did not watch you play it at all.
Yeah.
So how far did you get?
So I don't think I'm that far. Basically where I'm at is I am like in this castle where the Koopa Bros were, and there's basically all these like jail cells. And there's like keys behind some of them, and I'm trying to figure, this is where I'm stuck. I'm trying to figure out how to get the key, like open up the gates to get the keys. And there are like things you can like step on, which I'm assuming is what opens it, but they're so high up I can't jump up there. I can't, you know, throw my one guy who, you know, what are they called with the shells? The Koopa. I can't throw my Koopa friend.
Okay, so you got the Koopa.
Yes,
all
I
right.
have the Koopa.
Okay, so who are your two party members? What are their
Koopa and a Goomba.
You got a Koopa and a Goomba. What are their names?
I don't know.
Oh man,
Mr. Koopa and Mr. Goomba.
No,
Baby Goomba.
So the you get the Goomba first,
right?
Because at the beginning of the game you spend some time in Goomba Village.
Yeah.
And so the Goomba friend that you have, his name is Goombario.
Yeah.
Which is a ridiculous name, but and then your Koopa friend, I think his name is Cooper.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he's got like a little red bandana. I had to Google him because I could not remember his name. So that's fair that you forgot him.
Yeah.
You get a Koopa friend in Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door as well. And you get a Goomba friend as well. Mm-hmm. And both of those two characters, I think, are much more memorable, just better designs than the original Paper Mario. Like, it's Goombella and Koops. that you get. Yeah, I really like those characters. I mean, yeah, Goombario is just a Goomba with a blue hat on.
Yeah.
He's got like a trucker hat on. He's like, hey, I'm Goombario.
Isn't he a kid?
Yeah, he's a kid. Yeah, and I don't even remember Cooper's personality, so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And you said, what did you think of the Super Koopa Bros?
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Silly.
Yeah, so I mean, like, what did you like about the game?
I mean, I like that progression, like I said, of like, I like that it introduces it all slowly to you. Like, it's like, start with the basics. All right, now you've made it to this point. We're going to throw in a little something, something. Okay, now you've got that mastered. Here's another thing. So I do, especially as a baby gamer like myself, I do like that it gives me time to learn before it introduces something new. Because it's helpful.
Nice.
I did not like all the dialogue. Me and dialogue, I try to skip it. It's just a lot. And I feel like in like Mario games, they're really not saying anything of importance until the one moment that they do say something of importance. But because they've said a bunch of nonsense I don't care about, I've skipped it. And I'm like, oh no, what was I supposed to do? So yeah.
I will say it's been a while since I played Paper Mario 1, so I don't know how true this is for that game specifically. But one of the biggest draws of Paper Mario games is the script and like how humorous it is. Mm-hmm. Like, it's all very silly. Mm-hmm. And I definitely like. There's a lot to be said about the Paper Mario games and like how the quality has kind of gone down because this was a turn-based RPG. This is almost your first turn-based RPG.
What does turn-based mean?
Turn-based means like you do an action, then the enemy does an action. Technically, this was not your first turn-based RPG because you played Pokemon last year, and that in and of itself is a turn-based RPG. Mm-hmm. But where was I going with this? I actually don't remember. So the first two Paper Mario games are turn-based RPGs, and then the third one kind of does like a totally different thing. Then there's Paper Mario Color Splash, which is also a turn-based RPG, but just with different mechanics. And then Paper Mario: The Origami King, which is also technically a turn-based RPG, but the battle mechanics are just like ugh. So and then there's one called Sticker Star, but we don't really acknowledge that one. So like the first two Paper Mario games, this one and 1,000 Year Door, are widely regarded as like, when we talk about Paper Mario, that's what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is, like, I played Paper Mario Color Splash during the pandemic, and I gotta say, like, as much as I was not in love with the battle system, that game was hilarious. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I think back on that game, I just think about, like, it was so funny. Mm-hmm. And Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door, I remember, like, that game is, like, pretty humorous script. I can imagine maybe the original Paper Mario, they hadn't tapped into that quite yet, so it might be a bit more, like, basic in its story, or how it presents that story. But yeah, anyway, that's just a big draw of Paper Mario games in general.
Gotcha.
So, all right, so yeah, you gotta save this. You gotta save these stars. You gotta, you got your companions with you. You want to save Princess Peach from Bowser because he's up to no good again, obviously. So, given that you've gotten a Goomba and a Koopa as companions, what other Mario characters would you hope to have as a companion on your adventure?
I mean, probably Luigi.
Oh, you would? Oh.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Luigi.
I know. I went to go see him again, and he was like, I can't go. But you got a friend.
It's really funny, actually. In Paper Mario, the 1,000 Year Door, every single chapter that you complete, there's like that game does not take place in the Mushroom Kingdom. It takes place in like Rogueport or Roguetown. I think it's Rogueport. But every time you return to Rogueport from whatever adventure you went on, you see Luigi, and he's standing there with like he's got his own companion character there, and you go up to Luigi and you're like, hey, what you been doing? And Luigi just tells you, he's like, I've been on my own adventure, and like I went to the Waffle Kingdom, and I got like in every chapter you go up to Luigi and he's telling you some story about some crazy thing he got into. And it's like, wow, I want to play that game.
Right? I love Luigi.
Yeah.
He's the best. Yeah.
So, yeah, shouts out. I hope they make a Paper Luigi game. I would play the crap out of that. Okay, so if not Luigi, like think of, the pantheon of different Mario characters. Most of them are just Bowser's minions. If you could have a Bowser minion as a companion, what would you want that's not a Goomba or a Koopa?
I don't know. I don't know all the characters.
Oh. Okay, you got Boos, you got Shy Guys, you got Bob-ombs, you got Cheep Cheeps.
What's a Cheep Cheep?
That's a fish.
Oh.
You got Magic Koopas. You got Spinies.
What are those?
Lakitus.
You're what?
Yoshis.
Yoshi.
Not even a Yoshi. You know what a Yoshi is.
Not
even.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the only question I have for you.
Can I bring a piranha plant?
Yeah, totally. That's a great answer. A piranha plant. Nice.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
That does not happen.
I would not imagine it does.
But yeah, I mean, you will get a Bob-omb, you get a Cheep Cheep, you get a Lakitu. In the second game, you get a Yoshi. It's great. It's just so like, okay, so what I like about Paper Mario, especially, aside from the script being, funny in a Paper Mario game usually, is that the first two Paper Mario games are like, they were made in a very specific time in Mario history where like Nintendo was okay with Mario being kind of weird, like they weren't afraid to take risks with Mario. And what I mean by that is like, you've got a Goomba named Goombario and they'll just run with it, like they don't think anything of it. It's just kind of, Mario in and of itself as a property has turned very like vanilla within itself. Like they kind of took out the personality. It's like you're never going to see a Goomba named Goombario. It's just going to be a Goomba that's a Goomba, and yeah, so like Paper Mario 1 and 2, they just it had a lot more going on with like, different types of, like you would see toads, but there would be different colored toads. Some of them would have hair. Some of them would like, have their own distinct personalities. And then you play later Paper Mario games and it's all just like base toad, red polka dots, blue vest. That's it.
I did like all the different toads.
Right. See? Yeah. And like, you got like in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, you got Koops. And he's like, a little bit stockier of a Koopa, and he's got like a bandage on his nose. And you've got like your Yoshi companion in that game is like a baby Yoshi. He's not a fully grown Yoshi. He's a baby Yoshi.
Cute.
And like the game was just not afraid to take risks. Like one of my favorite characters in that game is Admiral Bobbery. He's a Bob-omb, but he's like a ship captain Bob-omb. So he's got like a big old mustache and like a big old captain's hat with a hook on it and anchor on it and everything. It's just like, that's just so much more personality than what you're getting from a typical Mario game, and I really miss that. And so like I'm very nostalgic for that. I feel like a lot of people are too. I think it was kind of a really big surprise for them to remake Super Mario RPG and to be remaking Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, because both games just like star original Mario characters that just don't exist in anything else. Like I'm playing Super Mario RPG and there's a purple Yoshi with sunglasses on and his name's Boshi. And And that's just
Should
funny.
Be broshy.
Yeah, right? And so like, yeah, I really want to see, now that they've put out a Mario movie that's all just kind of like base stuff, I guess. Mm-hmm. I would like to see them adventure out a little bit more again.
Yeah.
Because I missed that. It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was kind of this whole controversy when, I shouldn't say controversy, but when Paper Mario the Origami King came out, there was a producer for the game who was quoted as saying, like, Nintendo doesn't want us making original character designs based on existing, like, Mario characters anymore. Mm-hmm. It's got to be, like, base character design, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And people flipped out. They were like, what do you mean? Like, that was the best part of those games, and Nintendo just wants to make it all plain and basic? Like, why would they do that? And I'm kind of on the side of, like, I can understand from a business perspective why they might choose to do that. But at the same time, I'm a fan, and I'm like, why would they do that? Mm-hmm. So I would like for them to, listen to what the fans have to say and choose to have a little bit more fun with it. That's all we want. Yeah. It's just have a little bit more fun with it. And if you take the humor of like the script in the newer games and you combine it with like the originality of the character designs from the older games, that's like an unbeatable combination. And I think that's why Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door is so highly regarded, because it is kind of like that perfect mix of like old school Paper Mario turn-based RPG, but like with more fleshed out systems than the first one, and it's got that humor of the later Paper Mario games that's so strong. So yeah, just love Paper Mario. It's a great game. And every time I think about like, oh, would I ever want to make my own video game, the first thing I go to is like, I want to make my own Paper Mario type game, because it's so simple yet fun, and it stands out on its own, and it hasn't really ever quite been replicated since Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. The closest thing would be this game Bug Fables that came out, and it was marketed basically as a spiritual successor to Paper Mario and like the OG Paper Mario. And it basically was like, I personally consider that there was a third Paper Mario, Super Paper Mario, but to me Bug Fables, like that's the true Paper Mario 3 that we never got. So yeah, and the new Paper Mario games are also very concerned with making sure that it's Paper Mario. The old game, like, which makes sense, I get it, like, why call it Paper Mario if you're not even going to call attention to the whole paper thing? But the original Paper Mario games, just like the first one, especially the one that you're playing, paper had nothing to do with it. It was just like the characters were flat in a 3D space, and like that's what makes it paper. And it's like Paper Mario the Origami King is all concerned with like, oh, the villain, he's made of origami, and his little henchmen, they're going to be craft supplies. So like, first you're going to fight some colored pencils, then you're going to fight a stapler, and it's like, I don't want to fight colored pencils.
Oh no, it's the stapler again.
Right. I don't want to fight a stapler. I want to fight a Goomba with a tragic backstory, and who's got like, a mustache. That's like way more fun. So
that's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of everything that I wanted to say. Oh, I don't know if I said it already, but Paper Mario, the whole point of how I was going to connect this back to Super Mario RPG was that Paper Mario was originally designed to be a sequel to Super Mario RPG. So it was literally supposed to be like Super Mario RPG 2, but then they kind of changed it. I think maybe in Japan it might have actually been released like under that name, but then they changed it to being Paper Mario, and then they just kind of stuck with that. So yeah, that's also why it's kind of wild that they are remaking Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door so soon after they just remade Super Mario RPG. It's literally going to be, 6 to 9 months after that they're like re-releasing that. So it just seems kind of like a short window of time for like Mario RPGs, but they did just make $1 billion at the box office last year, and the Switch 2 might come out next year. So capitalize on that Mario money, get that Paper Mario game out there. So I get it. Anyway, anything else you would like to say about Paper Mario?
Nope, not that I can think of.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. You want to move on?
Sure.
Real quick, are you going to keep playing this game?
Maybe.
Are you going to pick it up like ever again?
Maybe. I'm real I want to figure out this jail thing.
All right.
So maybe.
I would just like to remind the people that every time you said you were maybe going to keep playing a game, you never did.
I know. It's the games that are hard to go back to.
Yeah.
So
for all those people who listened last year and were like, oh, did Aaliyah ever go back and finish Pokemon? No, she did not.
Actually, I think I did play a little bit after we recorded. I have not since then.
Okay.
Though.
For all those people wondering, did Aaliyah keep playing Uncharted 4? No, she never picked it up again.
There's just no time. Games take so much time.
I get it. Well, all right, let's move on.
Okay.
If you don't finish this game, I will. I actually am thinking about playing this game again this year before Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. Mm-hmm. But I also might not do that because I think the last time I tried to play Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, I had just played the original Paper Mario, and I kind of was like, not burnt out on it, but I was kind of like, this is not hitting as hard, and I love this game.
Yeah.
And I want it to be hitting hard. And I feel like if I do both, then it's like gonna lose that punch, I guess.
Yeah.
So, all right, maybe I won't. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yes, because I have to pee.
Oh no. Should we
No, go ahead.
take
a
break? No?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I was assigned Big Little Lies. This came out in
2017.
The first season came out in 2017. Say more facts as I take a drink of water real quick.
This show is based on a book by the author Liane Moriarty.
What else has she written?
I don't know.
Cool. All right. So, Big Little Lies follows the lives of 5 families living in Monterey, California, who share the beautiful experience of having a child in the first grade at the local elementary school. So that's all to say, each of these 5 families has a kid that's in the first grade. But there's been a murder. Well, maybe, or maybe not. The fact stands that at a fundraiser event, someone has died. It is unclear who, it is unclear how. What we do know is that there is drama in this town. Bad blood. Everyone seems to know a little bit of something. See, it all started during the incident on orientation day when the new kid Ziggy was accused by Amabella, the daughter of power mom Renata Klein, of strangling her neck. This leaves many parents with many questions. They can see red marks on Amabella's neck. She did point to Ziggy, but Ziggy denies it. His mother, Jane Chapman, new to town, looks into her child's eyes, and she knows it wasn't him. So then who was it? Nobody knows. But Renata maintains Ziggy's guilt. Jane maintains his innocence. The battle lines have been drawn. Because who's on Ziggy and Jane's side? Madeline Mackenzie, the true power mom. While Renata Klein became powerful and successful, cutting multi-million-dollar deals and serving on the board for tech giants like PayPal, Madeline Mackenzie was busy being a full-time mom. A mom with influence. A mom who could snap her fingers and have an entourage of other moms by her side at a moment's notice. Renata wanted to go battle with Madeline's new friend Jane, then on guard, mother effer.
Oh my
Madeline,
gosh. What is this?
Madeline is prepared for war. See, Madeline made friends with Jane that morning by happenstance when she twisted her ankle and couldn't drive. And Jane, the new mom, drove her and her kid to orientation day, forming an unspoken alliance. Jane showed up for a stranger. Now, Madeline needed to show up for Jane. What transpires is an epic modern tale of love, hate, betrayal, sadness, and trauma. Lots and lots of trauma. Like more trauma than I know what to do with. More than I can talk about here without one massive trigger warning. So, trigger warning for topics including domestic violence, child abuse, infidelity, and sexual assault. You thought this was about some petty squabbles in a town of privilege? Think again. This is big squabbles in Privilege Town. Need I remind you that there will be a murder? Big Little Lies, everybody.
Wow. That was a performance.
Thank you.
Very captivating.
Thank you. I wrote it to be. I tried to be. That's all I wrote.
Well, what'd you think of it?
I thought this show was great. So the show is on HBO, so you know it's gonna be like pretty good. But like I heard a lot about this show over the years. I knew like, okay, Reese Witherspoon's in it, Nicole Kidman's in it, people are in it.
Laura Dern.
Well, okay, yeah, Laura Dern, Shailene Woodley, Zoe Kravitz, Adam Scott, Alexander Skarsgård. Some big names, some big people.
Yeah.
So I knew. I only said those three, or I only said Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon at the beginning because those are the only two people that I like knew were in this. Mm-hmm. But I did not realize that there was like some heavy hitters in this cast. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really know what to expect. I knew like, okay, this is supposed to be a good show. It's called Big Little Lies, so maybe there's going to be some big tension because we're talking about lies here. Mm-hmm. And what I got, I was not expecting. Like, oh my gosh. So it's really a show about like the parents of these children, mm-hmm. but how what happens in the lives of these children affects the lives of the parents, mm-hmm. and like how they choose to interact with each other. So it's kind of got like, it's got that drama between parents that we all might kind of be familiar with because we were all in first grade at some point. Mm-hmm. But it's like just the title being Big Little Lies it tells you everything, mm-hmm. Because what I'll tell you right now is that, like Amabella is accusing Ziggy of strangling her, mm-hmm. but spoiler warning, like he's not the one that did it. Mm-hmm. So she's lying. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's this big little lie, mm-hmm. in the sense that it's like it's a little lie from a 6-year-old girl, mm-hmm. but it has major consequences. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just thought it was beautiful title.
Nice.
Yeah, the show's nuts. I mean, so like what I really like about it is that it's very grounded. Like, mm-hmm. the issues are very real. It's almost like, dang, they got too many issues going on. Mm-hmm. Like, I just said a whole lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, man, all of that? Dang, all of it? But, I mean, really, when you rewind on your time, mm-hmm. when you were in school, maybe not necessarily when you were 6, mm-hmm. but like when I look back on my time in high school, there was a whole bunch of kids at my school who everybody's struggling with their own thing. Mm-hmm. Everybody always has their own story to tell, mm-hmm. and they have their own things going on at home. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, what I just named like 4 very big topics, but you know what? Like, at least each one of those things was probably happening in somebody's family, mm-hmm. like who that I went to school with at some point, but I mean but that's just life, mm-hmm. Like I'm not saying that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's a very ugly thing. It's very sad. Mm-hmm. But to some degree, like statistically speaking, like somebody probably did struggle with at least one of these things in their home growing up.
Yeah, it's not far-fetched of an idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a far-fetched idea. But in this story, it just, all of those things are taking place in, you know, in the families of like one first grade class, which that would be a little much. But so I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, this one time I was in an English class in 9th grade and everybody's family had something. No, not like that. But so I would say that maybe that would be my one critique, if anything, is that it's like, this is much too much to be happening in one small town. But like, it's a show, it's a drama, this is what you're here for. I mean, you're not here for the statistics of the story to be realistic. You're here for the story that's being told. And oof, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I don't even know where to begin, you know? Like Nicole Kidman's character, Celeste, big domestic violence issue going on at home. Husband, crazy, played by Alexander Skarsgård. That should have been your first red flag.
There's a Skarsgård in it. You know to expect some bad stuff's about to happen.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him, I said, well, okay, maybe he murdered the person at the end, or, you know, maybe he had something to do with it, because that man has no chill. You do not cast Alexander Skarsgård as a character that has any amount of chill. He always has murderous intent. It's his whole thing. I think the least murderous intent movie I saw Alexander Skarsgård in was The Northman, and he was a Viking killing people. He was like a berserker Viking at one point in that movie, which is just like a Viking that sees red and just goes and killing people. But he's the main character, good guy in that movie. And I would say, like, of his roles, like, that was the most chill I've ever seen him have.
Yeah, the Skarsgårds scare me. I think if I saw them on the street, I'd be like, And I'm sure they're wonderful people in real life, but, like, they all just play the scariest people. Too much. They do it well.
Yeah. That's kind of all I have to say at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Got any questions?
I do, but I want to get to facts first.
Oh, yeah, facts.
Because my questions are kind of like,
I forgot we did facts.
Questions. Yeah.
I didn't write down any facts for Paper Mario because they were all just in my head.
Wow, gold star. You mentioned, like, this is the HBO show, of course, they would do it best. There was actually a bidding war for the show between HBO and Netflix. And I am very glad that HBO won, because I think HBO is the best place for this to be. HBO would have done it right. I don't trust Netflix to do a story like this.
Netflix would not have had Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman,
not at all,
Laura Dern, Adam Scott, Shailene Woodley, Alexander Skarsgård. No way Netflix would have gotten all those people.
Right. And so Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon are actually producers for the show. Which is no surprise, especially for Reese Witherspoon, because she does her like book club. She has been producing with her like production company a lot of like shows and movies that are based on books that she's read and loved,
like Daisy Jones and the Six.
Yes, yeah. I was like, wait, did she do that one? Yeah. Little Fires Everywhere. What was another one that she just recently did? I forget, but she's done a lot. But both her and Nicole Kidman produced this, and they were originally thinking of making it a movie, but instead decided that it would be much better as a limited series TV show. So Shailene Woodley plays Jane, and at the time, she was thinking of quitting acting and was refusing a bunch of scripts for like a whole year before she came across this one and just really loved the character Jane. And then I guess she got a phone call from Laura Dern being like, you should really do this. You'd be great. And so she ended up taking the role. Which, like, I mean, I hadn't seen Shailene Woodley in, like, forever.
Yeah, I think the last time I remember seeing Shailene Woodley was when she was doing those Divergent movies, of which I saw 0, and there was bad. Like 4 or 5 of them.
That and Maze Runner, I never got into. I was like, what is this?
She wasn't in Maze Runner.
She wasn't in Maze Runner. Okay, but I'm just saying, like, those, because it was, like, right off of Hunger Games.
Yeah. Those were the 2 series that came out as the whole YA film adaptation thing was really starting to die down.
Yeah.
That being said, I did like the first Maze Runner movie.
Really?
I haven't seen the rest of them, but I did like that movie.
I did not like those.
You seen them?
I've seen the first one. Maybe the second one.
It's all right. Whatever. Well, the director of the Maze Runner trilogy is going to be doing the Legend of Zelda movie, so we'll see how that goes. I gotta say, I hadn't seen Shailene Woodley since the Divergent series, and I thought she was fantastic in this. Put her in more stuff. I like her now. She's cool.
I like her now.
And Reese Witherspoon, I gotta say, traditionally not my favorite actress.
I love Reese. Oh my gosh.
I get it. But I gotta say, she freaking killed it in this movie.
Yeah.
Or in this show. She is so
spicy.
Good. She is
sassy. She is not here to play.
She is the best part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Her character, it holds grudges for candy. Like it's candy. Like
yeah.
Oof. And she's just so good at playing the role.
Yeah.
She crushes it. And I mean, and then Nicole Kidman. I mean, it's Nicole Kidman. I really don't need to say anything more than that. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon. That's what I love about Reese is she can play like the sweet, just like bubbly girl, but then with her sassy side, like she can play those roles so freaking well. She can do it all. She's wonderful.
Yeah, you need to see her switched on. Oh, she'll switch on.
It's like even when you wholeheartedly disagree with everything her character is doing, you're like, I love her. Because at least she's doing it with like no regrets.
Yeah.
Like she's standing her ground.
With veracity. I don't even know if I used that word correctly, but it sounds right.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on with facts. So, a random fact, but in order to be a part of the first season or to work on the first season, Reese Witherspoon had to back out of the movie Downsizing, which like good for you, girl, because that is not a good movie. Terrible. And Nicole Kidman had to turn down a part in Wonder Woman, which again, good for you, girl. Mm-hmm. That was a blessing in disguise.
She ended up being an Aquaman.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I totally forgot. She plays his mom.
Yeah. Maybe she should have stuck with Wonder Woman.
Kind of makes that knowing that she plays his mom actually makes me want to go see the sequel.
Oh my gosh. So season 1 is basically the entirety of the book. And so for season 2, the author, Liane Moriarty, wrote a novella specifically to be adapted as the second season. And so this novella was not published, nor will it ever be published. But yeah, like I said, it was just written specifically to be a season 2 for this show, which I thought was really interesting and kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw an article, I think it was this morning, that said that Reese Witherspoon confirmed, like, I think it was on the red carpet yesterday at the Golden Globes. She confirmed, like, yes, we are indeed working on season 3. Like, I heard Nicole Kidman said something like, yeah, we're working on it, like 6 months ago or something. Mm-hmm. But, like, literally yesterday, Reese Witherspoon was like, yeah, season 3.
I love it. I'm here for it. I can't wait. I, like, really want to do a rewatch of season 2 now.
Are the kids going to be in, like, 8th grade?
Oh my gosh, they're getting old. I mean, yeah, because the girl who plays one of Reese Witherspoon's daughter is the girl who's in Christmas Chronicle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's older now. Like, she's not that little 6-year-old anymore.
No. Well, that has me curious about season 2. I know season 2 came out in 2019, but like kids age super fast. Yeah. So I'm pretty curious if I don't know if there's like a time skip or if like all of the kids just kind of like noticeably got 2 years older, and they just kind of are like, yeah, they were first graders, you know?
Yeah. I don't remember the kids in the second season.
Oh, well, that's how they solved that problem.
No, I mean, I think they are in the second season. I'm pretty sure they're in the second season. I just don't quite remember what they look like in the second season.
Okay.
But I mean, the season takes place kind of like right
immediately after.
Yeah, kind of. If I remember correctly. I remember like the gist of everything going down, but
it's gonna be like when they did Arrested Development season 4, and they tried to kind of like close some story threads from season 3, like by going back. But it's like, hey, Michael Cera is noticeably like 15 years older. What's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, as we kind of mentioned, Nicole Kidman's character Celeste goes through a lot in this show. Again, trigger warning, because this is a really hard topic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into the depths of it.
Her scenes were so tough
They
to watch.
are very hard. I had a moment after we had been watching episode after episode, and I just like cried because it was just a lot. It's a lot to watch, but it's very well acted, very, very well acted. A little too well. But what I will say about
Alexander Skarsgård.
All right, so again, trigger warning. Nicole Kidman received lots of bruises from filming these very abusive scenes. She gave consent for Alexander Skarsgård to, like, you know, make it as authentic as possible. I'm sure he did not. I mean, it's not entirely real, because then like she would like for real be seriously injured. But he did kind of like aggressively, you know, slam her into the wardrobe, which left bruises. And like I'm not laughing. I read a article that was saying, because you know her husband's Keith Urban, and saying that at one point he like started to get really concerned because she had a bunch of bruises, but she was like, you know, it's the art, it's for the show. And it seems also that Alexander Skarsgård just like had a hard time filming these scenes. He would always check on Nicole Kidman after they filmed, just to make sure, you know, are you okay, and things like that. But apparently, and I don't know how true this is, it was stated that he was staying with a friend during the shoot of this show because he didn't want to stay alone in a room by himself, you know, after filming these like super intense emotional scenes.
Alexander Skarsgård?
Yeah. And it said that by staying with a friend, it was like easier for him to kind of shake off the role.
Wow.
So yeah. So it seemed like in a lot of the facts I was reading, everyone's storylines and just like the filming of this was just so emotional and tough that like each person kind of had their own breaking moment, or like moment in which they just like kind of fell apart because of just like how emotional they had to be, and how like in these hard things that they were filming, which is sad. But
it is sad.
Yeah.
You want a weird fact that I just
Why are you looking at facts? Are you listening?
Yeah, I am listening. It's not a fact from Big Little Lies, but because I was just looking at The Northman, because I was just looking up Alexander Skarsgård as you were talking about him, and I clicked on The Northman, which I mentioned earlier, where he plays Viking. Well, in The Northman, Nicole Kidman plays his mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. And in this, they're married.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
strange.
Yeah. I just saw like Nicole Kidman would have been 50 when this was released.
Nicole Kidman looks great.
She does. She does.
I freaking love Nicole Kidman. She's just so good. So yeah, so that is all that I have facts wise. I didn't. A lot of the facts were about season 2, and obviously I didn't want to get into that because I didn't want to spoil it for anybody.
Got it.
But yeah, so that's all that I have. Now I have 2 questions, and they're kind of just fun questions.
I could use a fun question.
I know, after all of this. So the first being, who is your favorite character?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. Can I say no one?
I have a favorite character.
Everybody has their flaws. I think how I would quantify my favorite character for this would be whose scenes did I feel the most like engaged with, or the most like, oh, this person's having a scene. I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Probably Shailene Woodley's character.
Really?
Jane Chapman. Yeah. I really felt for her struggle because she, throughout the show, the first season, she's getting a lot of crap from Laura Dern's character, Renata Klein. And, she's new in town. Her kid is just on the first day of first grade is accused of strangling a girl, which he did not do. She's got like horrible trauma from, I'm not even gonna mention it, but she's got horrible trauma, and she is struggling, and like she can't find where she fits in this town.
Yeah, she can't catch a break.
Yeah, and she can't catch a
Every
break.
2 seconds, she's getting a call from the school of another, like, of an incident or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's like
she has to like take her kid to the child psychologist just to make sure that like she's not raising a bad kid. And
I wouldn't say bad.
Well,
a kid who's the product of the person who is his father.
Sure. I mean, like sure, but I mean, she also wanted to make sure that like, like the poor girl who was like strangled on orientation day.
Yeah.
Like she has another bruise crop up later.
Yeah.
And she's not pointing fingers at anybody, but everybody's like, oh, it must be that Ziggy kid. And all of the parents are telling their kids like, don't hang out with Ziggy.
Yeah.
And
poor
Ziggy.
child.
Yeah.
I know. Like,
and so yeah, she takes him to the child psychologist, and the child psychologist is like, I don't think he has like the capacity to do something like that. He's a great kid.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I really felt for Shailene Woodley's character. Great character. And then the obvious second choice would be Reese Witherspoon's character, Madeline, because she's just such a, I can't, like,
she's like a chihuahua.
Yeah. She's small but feisty.
Yeah.
And relentless. So yeah, she's great.
Yeah, so my favorite character is actually Reese Witherspoon's daughter, the girl from Christmas Chronicle. That little girl is funny. She's so freaking funny.
She's funny, she's smart, and she's got great taste in music.
Like, no child that age would have that taste in music. No way.
And what we mean by that is like literally every scene she's in, she's got the aux cord and she is playing
blasting it
something great,
and it's like these old school jams. Like, that girl does not know that kind of music.
No. And it's like this music that makes you like reflect and introspect, and it's like, that girl doesn't know what those words mean. She's 6. She can't read.
I know, but I love her. She's so fun.
Yeah,
she's so fun. And I also really like, Reese Witherspoon's character is probably one of my favorites to watch because, like you've already mentioned, she's so sassy. She's got so much personality. Like, she's just a powerhouse. It's wonderful. But I also really like Zoe Kravitz's character because I'm like, Zoe Kravitz is like, at least in this first season, not in it too much. Like, she's not fully developed as the other women are.
Yeah, she feels a little underbaked compared to everybody else.
Yeah, but I also think like that was well done, given that like the big thing is that she is married to Reese Witherspoon's ex-husband, so she's like the stepmom. Reese Witherspoon just like really doesn't like her and all this kind of stuff, and I feel like by not showing her as much and not developing her as a character, it kind of like further highlights that relationship of like she's kind of like Jane, like where she also doesn't really fit in. So yeah, I don't know. And I just think I like the way she like approaches everything, like her conversations with people, conflict. She's really trying to be like the peacemaker, and like Reese Witherspoon is treating her like crap, but like she's not getting mad back. She's like, I like understand how you feel, but like I think we should be a unit, as 2 families now for the kids and everything like that. So yeah, I just think with the hand she was dealt, she's handling it pretty well.
Yeah, it does not help that Reese Witherspoon's ex-husband and Zoe Kravitz's current husband, in the show, not in real life, he's terrible. Yeah, he's a bad guy. He sucks. Like, I really like he's at the bottom of the list for me. Like,
yeah, he's like right above Alexander Skarsgård.
Right. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like he sucks. He's a schmuck. He's just not. If I was a dad,
yeah,
I would not want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I would be like, like I do not want to talk to that guy.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what she sees in him, but I do like her.
Right. So that's I think that would be my other criticism is like, I do not see how the two of them
like, how did he get
work
Zoe
together?
Kravitz? Yeah.
Why on earth would she date him when she could date a million other better people?
Well, in all fairness, he is much better with her. Like, I think she brings out the best in him.
Yeah.
It's Reese Witherspoon who brings out the worst in him.
That's true. Yeah.
So, because like in all the conversations, Reese Witherspoon's like, he's doing all this stuff for her, and he never did that kind of stuff with me. And so, like, it's like fire with fire for them.
Yeah. But then he has these scenes where Adam Scott, because Adam Scott plays Reese Witherspoon's current husband, and he has these scenes where he's just a mean guy to Adam Scott. But Adam Scott being like, you know, the nice angel tech guy that works from home, he like, by getting treated in this way by his wife's ex-husband, he gets like activated.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to be a man.
But it's kind of funny, like, hearing him, like, talking to the ex-husband. Just like, he's trying.
I'm like, good for him. You know, that is every kid who used to be bullied's dream, is to stand up to some bullies when they get older.
Yeah. It's great to see his character develop just in this one season. And he's like not even really an important character, to be honest.
Yeah.
But great. So my second question, my last question, and then we can wrap this up.
Okay.
Of all their homes, because I'm pretty obsessed with their homes. Of all their homes, which do you think was the most expensive?
Oh, which do I think is the most expensive?
Yeah.
Laura Dern's house, easily.
It is not.
Really?
It is Reese Witherspoon's house.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I was going to say Reese Witherspoon's house would have been my favorite to live in if that was the question. But it's and the reason being because it's like right next to the beach, and it's got these big windows, and this is like beautiful living room that leads straight to the beach.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So I imagine that is also why it's the most expensive.
Yes. So I found an article that actually, I mean, obviously these are real homes that exist that they filmed at. And I found an article that told me the price of all of them. So Reese Witherspoon's house is located in Malibu, and it is $14.8 million.
Holy moly.
Yes. Crazy. I was
so
like,
no one can afford to live there.
Literally, I'm like, who owns that? Runner up is Renata's, aka Laura Dern's. Her house is also in Malibu, and it is $12.4 million. Still pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Celeste's house
Celeste
house is the third runner up, and her house is $6 million. It's located in Monterey. Next is Bonnie's house for $2.6 million.
Who's Bonnie?
Bonnie is Zoe Kravitz. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Next is Bonnie's house, which is $2.6 million, and it is located in Calabasas. And last but not least, you have Jane's house, which like is pretty obvious if you watch the show. And
it's made to look like a tiny house.
It is.
She sleeps on the sofa.
Yeah, and her house is worth $520,000, and it's located in Pasadena.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, at least all of them were in California, but like in very different
places
parts of California.
Yeah, the show's set in like Monterey.
It's set in Monterey.
Yeah, the filming locations were kind of all over California.
I appreciated that it was filmed in Monterey because I kind of grew up like hour and a half from Monterey. Mm-hmm. I had friends, like I had roommates in college who went to high school in Monterey. Mm-hmm. So
I love Monterey. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Monterey's, yes, exactly.
I want to go to the aquarium. I still haven't been.
You still haven't been?
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it
was closed when we went.
It's a great aquarium. They also have the God, what's it called now? WeatherTech Raceway, otherwise known as Mazda Laguna Seca. It's a racetrack, famous racetrack. It's in every racing video game ever made. Right over by Monterey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. I had the best. Was that in Monterey? It was in Monterey. The best plantain burrito. Oh my gosh. I think about that burrito at least once a month. It was so good. Anyway, that's all that I have. Are you ready for assignments?
Yeah, I'm ready for assignments. Let's do it.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I will go second.
Okay. So since I gave you a real heavy one to start us off for the new year, I decided I wanted to give you a movie that is so bad it's pretty comical, but it is based on a true story. And that movie...
What?
I know. That movie is The Bling Ring.
Oh!
It has Emma Watson and a bunch of other people I forget.
Yep. Directed by Sofia Coppola.
Yep.
I know that movie.
I can't wait.
I know.
I have the DVD.
You have the DVD.
Because I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny. I bought the DVD a long time ago.
I just remember that it's like Emma Watson's like first movie at post Harry Potter, for first notable movie post Harry Potter. And I remember there is a scene in the trailer where she's getting married, or not married, interviewed, and she's like, like something.
She's so bad in this movie.
Yeah,
she makes this movie bad. Like her alone,
really
makes this movie terrible.
Oh man, and we haven't really seen her in anything else since then.
I know. I will say this movie though put me in a spiral. I watched the real life event that happened that it's based on. There was two of the girls, one of which is the character that Emma Watson plays. They had a reality show before all this happened, and like the last episode is when they basically like get put in jail. And and I watched that reality show because I was like, I need to know every detail about these kids and what they did and like who they are as people.
All right. Yeah, let's save it for next week. Okay. Great pick.
Yeah.
It's a great first pick for the year. Okay, well I don't have something that would maybe be defined as a great pick for the new year, but you said you wanted a good movie.
Right.
And I asked you what kind of good movie, and you said flexible. So obviously I went with a dark good movie.
Oh no.
So I am giving you Memories of Murder.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, this is a movie directed by Bong Joon-ho. Famous for directing films such as Snowpiercer or Parasite.
Oh no, is this gonna give me nightmares like Parasite did?
Oh, who knows? Maybe.
But
it's one of his early career movies from 2003, and it's about a string of murders in South Korea and the investigation that ensues from said murders.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
And so when we watched Old Boy with Dante like a year and a half ago, we could not find Old Boy on anything, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? And eventually we had to stream it via unconventional means. That's all I'll say. And my backup, if we couldn't find Old Boy, was to assign you Memories of Murder.
I kind of wish you assigned it then.
Old Boy is a great movie.
Old Boy was great. It was so gross.
Yeah, I will say Old Boy is definitely much more extreme than this movie is.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. Like, I think I watched it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, that was a very good movie. And so I'm excited to watch it again because I don't really remember what happens.
Okay. If I have nightmares, I'm blaming you.
Go ahead. All right. So next week we have
Bling Ring.
The Bling Ring and Memories of Murder. Excellent.
That's so funny.
We hope you enjoyed Paper Mario and Big Little Lies. We will catch you next week. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. We hope you had a great holiday season here at the Content Swap Podcast. And we hope that all of your New Year's resolutions come true. In with the good, out with the bad. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.